behind. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up.
From the high trades and the high trends of the bankings to the corners below, this is an all-out war zone as we are back in Fontana, California's Auto Club Speedway for tonight's showcase of the Pit Stall Summer Series live here on PTM Racing TV. Hi, everyone. I am the Crusader Christian Shire, joining you guys here today as we are currently under the qualifying range right now. Under the practice lineup we go. Currently, right now we're still waiting on our old friend and Carly, Dustin Sonecker / Sparky, but he is not, unfortunately, at the moment unavailable. So I may end up having to go alone tonight in this 80-lap main event, which is not too much to worry about or anything to deal with here. Got a good handful of drivers and a good crowd on hand to really rate this one out. So obviously we've got a lot of hard racing, a lot of hard driving in between the positions, and a lot of showcasing here with the track today as we're currently getting settled up for today's action. Now, I also want to clarify something as well. I made a ton of mistakes on the last time I was watching these guys out. I made some last name issues. I said Len McNeese was a McNessie. I can confirm now that it's McNeese, not McNessie. So be very well aware, guys. I will be clarifying that up as we go along with the race, and I'll make sure that I get everyone's name right. Qualifying, though, is being taken place here as the field is currently wrapping their way around the track. Just getting last-minute laps up. Randy Bledsoe is right now your #1 seed, entering in by about 100 of a second over Joe Meesh in the number 8. Derek Paulson trying to lay down a quick time with a 17. Unfortunately, not able to get into the top spot just yet. Gets a third-place run. John T. Garrett, the number 66 driver in his Fort Worth screening. John T. Garrett Twitch channel machine. Looking to bring home some speed, looking to bring some power onto the track. He's currently in the 8th position. Cody Griffin in the 03 also kind of marching to the beat to the tune of his own drums. Currently in the top 5, trying to build some speed up. And triplicate race winner as well as a multi-class champion, the number 5, Chantel Bottle, coming back after her huge win at Talladega Super Speedway. Looking to ride the wave of success here in Fontana. Doug Wysocki returning back to the show here, and as well going to be in this track with the field of mind just to have some fun and have a little playing on the track. We'll see what the Falcon 34 brings to the table. As I'm just now getting word as well, race fans, I will be on my own for this one today. So to the Dustin Sonaker fans that like to come in with me as well, I'm sorry guys, Sparky is not available today, so I will be all on my own today for this call. Currently pit stop still being made. Now you may see some of these drivers really just kind of getting right up into position and then just kind of faltering back. They're trying to set the fastest time while also using each other as a bit of leverage here, a little bit of leeway for the overall picture, the overall show. So look for a lot of these guys to kind of get closer as they go into position and closer up with their other teammates and their drivers to try to make the most out of their equipment while also getting the most out of this time. As DJ Mitchell is trying to get the Giraffe a little push off of that corner there, running it right back up. Still not anywhere near the time he wanted. Gets down 6 fastest still. As he went to take on the 6th, that is Eric Blount in the X-Side machine. Blount driving the Tundra while the Silverado being driven by Mitchell. And a little smack in the wall there for Blount. Going to derail any qualifying time he's got. Not only does that completely take out any lap or any position he was in for that time in that lap, that also does damage to the truck, which will now have to get fixed up and repaired here on the show. Cody Griffin, the 03 right now, looking to be top 5 in equipment here. Got a pretty good run off here in the 03. The pit stall Summer Series continues to swing on. The sun's starting to fade out, starting to get a little bit dark here down in old Fontana. With about a minute and 40 seconds left on the clock here, it's all but time running out for these drivers getting their last minute laps in, their last minute showcases in. As we now see the Wrangler 388, that is Douglas R. Johnson here on the show, now making his bid at a qualifying lap. Ray Radford making his television day return back here on PTM Racing TV in the 19, coming back out here. Len McNeese as well in the 84, I mentioned earlier, he'll be back out. He's not currently throwing a qualifying lap up. Jeffrey Todd Tufts in the 72 as well. Brian Rainville in the 60 Tundra, and then that number 13 Ty Marasco. Why do I say Marasco? It's Ty Marasco there, and then at number 13 looking to try to get into this field as well. He will be in the bottom left of this track, but we have over 20 drivers here for this race, so it should be an interesting little kick, a little bit of interesting little battle here on this track. And race fans, if you haven't already, be sure to share the stream around, get some love to these boys, and show them you are here to watch some racing, as they're about a mere 35 seconds away from entering into the fold and onto the track with this 2-mile-long embankment race. Which now brings me to my next point here. It's time to take a look at our track tech talk for the evening here in Fontana, California. 2 miles in length. You may think of the shape as a little bit configured up as similar track you may know down in old Brooklyn, Michigan. Yeah, I'm talking about Michigan National Speedway. This track, designed and actually created by the help of some big track owners and some famous names, the names of Roger Penske, helping reconfigure what was of Michigan to make into this track for his IndyCar days as well as the NASCAR times. And that is how this track came to be in a 2-mile length embankment setting. Although the racing may not have been as good as it maybe once was a long time ago, the racing has seemingly reconfigured itself after what we witnessed from the high ends and high hopes of the next gen cup cars and the truck series here. It certainly do put on a good show and put on a good battle a long way through, but you got to keep an eye out for these bankings and these corners, getting some of the best drivers worked off these matchups and worked off these knees here, man. It's going to be a wild ride from start to finish. Qualifying is now finishing up here on PTM Racing TV. We have now completed the qualifying session, awaiting the approach of the start of today's race. Last minute laps are being put down. Eric Blount trying to get the last lap he can in. Ty Marasco getting a 16th slot, just knocking down Douglas R. Johnson. Blount was only able to secure a 12th spot, just ahead of Chantel Pottle in the 5 and the 13th line. So that will be the starting lineup. 21 drivers to the stage. It's time to get ready for this one. The Pit Stall Summer Series is under swing in Fontana, and your number 1 seed will pilot the number 8. It's Joe Meesh, and the Chevrolet Silverado is outside. The other Chevrolet Silverado in that top spot, Randy Bledsoe in the 81. And row number 2, we see a Ford pop into the bunch. The 17, it's Derek Paulson. And then a 45 of Tim Williams will be on his outside in the big bad Chevy. The Chevys then go down with Jeff Clinton, the 15 with a 03. That is Cody Griffin. At row number 4, it is DJ Mitchell in the 61 with the 66 being piloted by John T. Garrett. In row number 5, it's going to be piloted down by Dustin Franklin in the 47 with his outside being the 51. That is Todd Poston in the Toyota Tundra camp. Row 6, then we see a mix here. Michael Taylor in the 18 of the Chevy camp, and the Toyota returns with Eric Blount in the number 6. In row number 7, then it is Chantel, the throttle bottle, looking to continue her winning ways in the 5 with a 00. That is Gordon Larson Jr. In row number 8, it's Doug Wysocki in the 34 with the 13. That's Ty Morasco. In row number 9, Douglas R. Johnson in the 388 with his outside playing to be the 60. That's Brian Rainville. Row number 10, it's Len McNeese. And the number 84, it has outside. It's the 19, Ray Radford, your final starter in all this. The 72, Jeffrey Todd Tufts. And race fans, we've come to the big tracks of California to watch ourselves some hard racing, some hard battling up ahead. You come to see the show, you come to see the stars in the cars. Well, the trucks are out and about, and it's time for a little ruckus with the trucks. And so the time has come here on PTM Racing TV. The action's going to get hot around here. California, we're ready for you. Here we go. Hot off the start. We'll enter him into turn number 1, down in turn number 2 with the number 8 of Joe Meach piloting it hard on the inside road, though, but there's problems already. The 6 of Eric Blount slamming right into the mix of the fold. We've got driver spun around early. Tim Williams in the 45 wrecking hard off of turn number 2, and a caution flag flies. And just when you think we're going to get this crazy train off to a hot start, well, we got to a hot start, but maybe a little bit hotter than they were expecting. Tim Williams in the 45 takes a huge little hit there. Unfortunately, coming off the corner, got hit by the number 03. Got clipped really good there. Took a nice little run off that. Kind of spun it on around. Thankfully, the truck took very little in damage. Tires, though, maybe not so much. Eric Bach kind of got an into the mix of that one as well. So that will slow down both drivers to a crawl. Cody Griffin, the one involved in the wreck as well, who caused kind of the start of it, if you will. Take a look at Eric Blount's little hit there as he came around the corner there into the turn. You're on board camera here on the PTM Instant Replay. Excuse me, actually it was Anthony Poston there that got the hit off. Pardon me there. So Poston, unfortunately, was the one that got into it, as our camera crew could not figure out the numbers very well. Nope. Kind of sorry about that, folks. Yeah, there we go, right there on the inside, trying to avoid the 45. Did take a little bit of a hit. And I will say the reason I made that mistake was because, well, Eric Blount has the 6, and guess who also has a 6 on their truck? Todd Poston. So, field will get squared back away, though. We're going to wrap back around the track here. And then head it down to our drivers and chat up with them a little bit, as currently we are under the pace lights. Pace lights are still on, so we're going to go ahead and try to listen in with some of these guys, as some of them have already headed into pit road to get squared back up on the track. Gonna be quite a few guys to listen into today, so let's kind of start up here with one of them here, and John Garrett here in the number 66 here machine. And John, things already going pretty wild here out of the gate. How is the truck holding up after that one little run?
Oh, not bad. I missed all that. I don't know what they were thinking, but then I wasn't paying attention to sped going in the pits. So anyway, long way to go.
Long way to
We'll
go.
see what happens.
For sure there. Sorry to interrupt there. Long way to go indeed, and 80 laps to the distance. I mean, I got a feeling these are going to take quite a bit with these kind of heavy artillery, these trucks, isn't it?
Yeah, 10-4. It's kind of a tire management place. So, and only 2 sets in the pits. So it should be a good race once these guys settle down.
For sure there. All right. Well, John, we do appreciate coming on board today, sir. Best of luck as we get you back into the race.
10-4. Thanks for pulling me in.
Absolutely. Fort Worth Screen Printing, ladies and gentlemen, number 66, John Garrett on the call list as we get settled back down on the track. Cody Griffin there in the kind of the fold as well, trying to evade some of the drivers here. Let's listen in with him here. Cody, you got a copy down there, sir?
Yes, sir. I got y'all.
All right. Well, we got you, my friend. And how about this? Kind of got a little bit tangled up there, unfortunately, with Tim Williams entering off turn number 2. Is this a little bit too much speed on your end there, or do you think it was just kind of a little bit of a racing incident that kind of threw you in that mix?
Talking to race control about it too. I keyed up on the radio. On my screen, it looked like he bobbled a little bit, and I kind of caught him when he bobbled it. Dave up here in the tower said it looked like it might have been a little net code to do with it, but I don't know, man. These trucks are just so wound up around this racetrack with these motors that they've got in them. You got to keep them wound up, kind of like a late model. So when somebody just barely cracks the throttle, you're into them before you even get the chance to lift.
With that 550 horsepower package, some kind of noted as kind of being a bit of a plate track style with these bigger tracks. I presume it probably is also going to kind of boil down to how you enter in and exit off pit road to get this one taken care of, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Everything's you're definitely going to have to execute here on every part of the race.
You're certainly there. All right. Well, nevertheless, Griffin, we're ready to get back to the action if you're ready, sir. So best of luck to you down there.
Thank y'all.
Cody Griffin, ladies and gentlemen, the 03 in the pit stall truck, looking to get settled back down, back onto the track, and get them fielded back into position. Our field now set to go off into the corners here down in turn number 3 and 4. We send them our way. Randy Bledsoe in the 81 will lead the field. Joe Meesh will be right up on the outside, awaiting the command, the structure. Onward to our green flag lap. We're back underway. 5 laps of 80 now into this. And that's something to know, too. You heard Tim T. Garrett talk about this earlier. Only 2 tire sets these drivers are going to have to work with. They're not going to have a lot of room for error. So that little spin that Williams just struggled with there, that already just kind of murmured down his speed a little bit. That's going to help. That's going to hurt him a little bit going through the late run. If he needs that extra set, he's going to have to be careful where he uses it. But it looks like Cody Griffin doesn't seem to mind too much where he uses or what part of the truck here down on the bottom. Running them through, running them clean. Striving upwards. Again, I was kind of figuring they would do this. A lot of drivers will start on the bottom, then they'll work their way up as they migrate toward the top side, but they need to keep speeds high. They got to keep those RPMs up and make the truck work to their favor. The whole field right now in a hot mix, just trying to get into the positions. Side by side still here for your race lead right now. Randy Bledsoe in the 81, then the 17 and Derek Paulson right on the inside. But behind now, Joe Meesh in the number 8 starting to push and shove the 81 a little bit. Now drivers starting to migrate a little bit towards top side, trying to conserve the tires. Running towards the bottom lane is going to hurt those tires a lot more than you realize. And they're going to figure that out later, because the more you're turning the truck in, the more you're using up that equipment to get this thing to really boil down into that section of that apex of the turn. It may look like it's easy, it may look like it shouldn't affect anything. It looks like more like if you actually just had a little bit more banking on the top side, you could really turn this into a plate track. Well, here's the problem with that mindset, is the thing is, you're coming around on these corners, and you're coming around on those bankments there. One wrong move, and it may end up actually being your last with these things. The rear ends will slide out just a little bit, and that front end, once it tries to come back and save it, it just tightens up so much that the track just slicks you up and slips you up more as you go. That's why it's kind of a little bit more lower banking, because it was more designed for Indy cars. Have a way to actually run multiple ends of the track, multiple angles, and multiple routes. Because of that open wheel setup, the suspension can actually just kind of dig in and revert back to anything they want with carrying such speeds. Obviously, the truck series is a whole different story. And these guys and gals are learning that the hard way. Onboard camera here at Doug Wysocki right now as he's got Tony Marasco and the number 13 right in front of him. And that huge pack of fields just literally right into the mix and right into the fray. Drafting very crucial. And you heard even from the 03 of Griffin earlier on, if you don't keep your speeds up, you're going to lose momentum. It's literally like a super late model. Keep the RPMs up and keep those runs going. I fully agree with it. That's why I've always kind of said with these 550 horsepower package races, you've got to be careful on where you go and where you time your shots at. Bumping, banging, and putting fenders together is just kind of a big thing with these bigger tracks because there's not a whole lot of extra speed you get. Which then kind of boils down to into the terms of using a pit strategy that we know is so often on those plate track runs, because it forces drivers at their hand and forces them at their vessel just to try to find the right time and the right place to hit up with it. Joe Meacham, the number 8 there, got a little company up on his outside again. The number 61, DJ Mitchell, looking to make a move off here as he gets the new Nest Reality 61 route in there. Realty 61 looking to make a move off the 5 Chantel bottle right behind all of them here, trying to hang in there as they're still side by side, entering in corners, entering in through turns. But I do kind of wonder a little bit, how much are the tires taking and how much are these trucks already advancing? Because by going to that bottom so much, the United Rentals number 17 of Derek Paulson, he's getting creamed a little bit out there just by pushing it that hard. And the 15 of Jeff Clifton and that MAV TV Plus Chevrolet is also having quite a little bit of a stir, mounting on through that track and mounting from that position. But there's one thing I can't say, and the boys and girls did kind of allude this to me. They said the good news is here at Fontana is at least when it goes dark, you got the lights on this track. So that's one positive around here. And for those that were not watching last weekend, last week, excuse me, it was a little dark to say the least out here on PTM Racing TV. It got a little bit nightcappy air on the track. Well, while the field works their way into the front, we got drivers in the back still kind of coming up through the ranks and through the positions. Gordon Larson Jr. in the 00 being one of them with Doug Wysocki behind. Eric Blount in the 6X side machine also looking to make a bit of a resurgence here as the field starts to pace in and thick and deep. And that was not us having the Glitchcraft Gremlin there. That was Eric Blount, unfortunately, on his 6 machine. For those at home that don't know what the Glitchcraft Gremlins means, it's a little recurring joke we have for a netcode or a driver just kind of blinking in and out due to the iRacing service. So that's kind of where, if you ever hear it say the Glitchcraft Gremlins getting on the attacks or attacking some drivers, that's kind of the joke, the reverberation to it. So best to explain that and kind of make sure everyone knew that before we got too in debt to these races here. Just kind of a little fun little get up we have on our shows. Led McNeese here in the number 84 right now, battling hard here with Dustin Franklin, the 47, as he looks to try to get something going here on that Twitch stream. Number 47. Uh-oh, a little trouble down there. Well, we got big problems coming off the ends of the cliffs inside the track. We've got one into the grassy plains, open up zone lawn care service as DJ Mitchell also a part of this wreck here in the 61. Well, they were able to spur on and bring on a lot of laps there on that little go, but unfortunately there was also quite a bit of a mess down there as they entered off into the distance of the corners. Here's another look at it from the PTM Instant Replay, presented in part by Fort Worth Screen Printing. Okay, right up in the mix there. Looked like just a little hard race and kind of dragged them off, and everybody getting cleared out of the back and into the front there, if you will, just taken for a wild ride. Let's see if our chopper cam can give us a better look at this one here. We have a little bit of a drone cam work it around, but I think we'll use the chopper cam for this one just to give you guys a better in look at this. You can see right there a little bit of a push there on from the 15, gets right into the 17, and the 15 gets the 61 cleared out. The 15 just driving into the grass. The 17 and Derek Paulson was able to at least avoid somewhat trouble as the field now heads down pit road. Well, we'll let them get squared away here on pit road and have this one all to themselves. And tonight's race, of course, presented in part by our friends at Fort Worth Screen Printing here. When you guys need to get your designs made up your way, your style, Fort Worth Screen Printing is the only way to go. Be sure to hit them up on their Facebook and FortWorthScreenPrinting.com. Also, while you're at it, check out the John T. Garrett Twitch channel here and support him and his career as he continues to bring out a renaissance out on the track. Randy Bledsoe just barely neaking out. Cody Griffin, the 03, out of pit road. Ty Morasco and Chantel Bottle coming out quickly as they go as well. Huge field of drivers moving their way around and right into the playing field here. Well, it's time to listen back in with some of our guys and have a listen in with some of the drivers here. Now on the call and joining me here, race fans, is of course an old friend of the show, Doug Wysocki, in that number 34. And Doug, feeling a little Dougie fresh tonight, my friend?
Yeah, what's up, boys?
You're going pretty good. Well, right now, currently getting squared back up on the track and trying to have a little bit more fun with these boys. It seemed like you were kind of hanging with them quite a bit while they were in that pack race, weren't you?
Yeah, I just gotta stay in that draft a little bit. You lose it, man, and 4 or 5 trucks will walk away from you. But yeah, it's a lot of fun in these things, man. I have a blast.
For sure there. Now, I'll ask you this too. When the track starts to get a little wear and tear up here from the sunset kind of coming down and it cools off a bit, how much tighter does the truck get to kind of hold on to with that wheelbase and all that with that 550 horsepower package?
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tight for sure, but back up the corner a little bit, get through it.
Certainly indeed. Well, nevertheless, Doug, we really appreciate you coming back to talk with us here. Best of luck as we get you back in for this one.
Yeah, man, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. Doug Wysocki, ladies and gentlemen, the number 34 driver, having a little chit-chat with us. As the Pace Truck's lights have turned off, we will get them refired and re-racked, restacked, and all them, put them back on the attack. Two miles in length, Auto Club Speedway. By far one of the super speedway tracks of the roster and of the day and age. It's a track that involves so much talent, so much expertise, and a level playing field to really make the best of drivers at the best of times and their toughest positions to have to win out when they can. Field will come around here off of turn number 4 into the Geico restart zone. We go. The Fort Worth Screen Printing restart zone, I may add as well. Reels them off. Green flags back out. We're underway again. And just like that, the pack's starting to already close in. A little bit of movement coming from the mix of it. The 19 Ray Radford making for a big charge there on the bottom lane as we got a bit of smoke coming down on the track. One spun around here. And it's the 81 of Randy Bledsoe, your race leader. Caution flag back out once again here. Bledsoe going for a ride off of turn number 2 once again. And ironically enough, it's almost the same area that you saw earlier with Cody Griffin and Tim Williams. And honestly, I don't know if that's just coincidental. That was just kind of a bad little angle to really throw into. But from that angle, it looked like Cody might have taken him for a ride. It sounds like they're going to have to give him the EOL, or he may be asking for an EOL. It sounds like. I don't know what's going on down there. One more look at it here on the pit stall series as he gets right up into that corner. Got a little piece. Looked like he saw he was trying to back off, give him a chance to breathe. And that simply was not the case. I'm being told he has yelled EOL. I think he really wants an EOL right now. And it looks like he's going to go into pit road. So it looks like he might just give himself the EOL and not have to worry about the officials giving it to him. Well, we can say this though for sure. The number 13, Ty Morosco, will be your race leader. And number 13 machine here. We'll see if maybe he can continue that drive along. He's got a long way to go though before he can really start talking too much about this. Let's kind of take it down now and take a listen with our boys here as well. And the 00 Exalta Chevrolet machine. It is, of course, Gordon Larson Jr. now up on the show here. And Gordon, right now, currently moved up 11 spots here, kind of taking the field for a little bit of a stride. And it appears, pit road stop wise, you kind of went in a little bit sooner than everyone else here with the lap 14. Was the strategy just kind of get yourself a little bit more cleared up on tires, or you just wanted a little more fuel to hang in there?
We just putting some fuel in there.
Put some fuel in there and kind of getting ready for this one to get back at it. So I gotta ask you this: in these long runs, I mean, this fuel run, it seems like it may be a bit of a detrimental to these guys and these gals. Do you think maybe that might come to be a factor later on if they can get a green flag running?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get going green here soon, and I think it's gonna stay green. That's what we're hoping.
For sure there. All right, well, Gordon, we do appreciate your time here chatting with us. We'll see if it stays green and maybe you can bring this thing to life here.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Gordon Larson Jr., ladies and gentlemen, the 00, having a little chit chat with us. As we'll bring the field right back around town here once again. The number 84 here, Len McNeese, looks like he's going to head back into pit road. I think he wants to get himself the most amount of fuel that feasibly he can get and he can go for. We'll have to see if that is going to be that's going to be a big odds move, or it's going to be a bit of a troublesome move for him and this team. Field is now set back to go racing here. We're going to double file them up once again. So I'll have to chit chat with these guys a little bit later on here as we continue through this race, throughout this momentum. One-fourth of the way through this one already, and race fans, it seems as though that drivers that go into pit road early are expecting this to get a little bit more chaotic and a little bit more insane. So they're trying to stretch out as much fuel as possible before they really kind of run into a little troublesome state here, which is end up being more of conserving and hitting the mark when you need to most. Passing here obviously does not appear to be the easiest, especially when you got only a set amount of trucks or amount of field that can only drive so much in so much time. Becomes more of a nightmare as much as it becomes a bit of a headache to have to work around. But nevertheless, Tim Williams in that 45 gets a chance to get back into this fight here after that little tick he got with Cody Griffin earlier. Let's see if that will work out okay for him, and that will be enough to kind of bring him back into the dance. Off to the green flag here. We are still at it here at Auto Club. Great start out of the gate for Morosco. Williams going to the bottom immediately, right down into that mix. Coming from the pack, 3 wide slew here as Jeffrey Todd Thompson 72 gets a little bit of a love as it gets a little runoff. And it looks like Todd Post in there in the number 51/6 is going to have problems. Exiting off, gets himself really loose off turn number 2, almost slamming back into the inside wall. Manages to avoid it though as the field continues to dictate the pace. Once Marasco gets into that clean air though, it's going to be a very tall order to really build up the speed, build up that run again, because we know how difficult it is just to even try to pass around here. Really, if you get to that outside, then it's the driver on the bottom that has to either, one, floor it off and then try to hope that it'll stick as you get it up to the outside, or two, hope the outside driver makes that slight mistake and gets a little bit loose for their own good and cost them dearly. Either way, it is a challenge and a half to take in full regards and full perspective. Dustin Franklin, the number 47 driver right now, continuously in the mix, into the fold, looking for an open shot, looking for an open edge seat here as he continues to make some moves up into the front. Franklin, maybe you got to watch out for here late into this day and late into this night. As the sun starts to fade off even more with the palm trees just kind of shaking off. The wind not too bad here, but you can certainly feel it down on the back straightaway with these bad boys running in there. And boy, just listen to that throttle too. You heard him say earlier on, we need to keep those RPMs high. We need to make sure that engine is roaring. If you don't have the engine roaring, then you are going to have problems late, because it's going to end up costing you dearly. But again, with that hot summer temperatures and those hot summer degrees as well, the weather could play a factor into making the trucks overheat a little bit if they're not careful. They're going to have to really they're going to have to tempo themselves and pace themselves a little bit, as we got a little bit of trouble there coming down around the track. And more problems yet again here as you got Randy Bledsoe running the 81 back into the back straightaway, spinning it around in the 81. Well, we know we saw one driver getting right into the wall protection. I could not tell from that angle where that might have gone wrong. We'll go to the PTM replay as Bledsoe has spun the track around yet again. Currently trying to get out of this mess, but it looks like his day is done. What a tough break there for Bledsoe. There's the problem right there. Bledsoe trying to avoid the trouble up ahead of him, and unfortunately John T. Garrett clips him in the back there and gets him into that troublesome state. It was Michael Taylor in the number 18 that initially caused this to pop out. This is what started it. Got too hard on the throttle, gets into the double O of Gordon Larson Jr. and spins her on around. And then there is where the trouble was for the 81. And right now, folks, we're getting word right now. We got a problem down there for the number 17. Or excuse me, for the number 72, Jeffrey Todd Tufts, as he has been thrown into the wire and thrown into a wreck here. Unfortunately, we have a wreck down here for the 72, Jeffrey Todd Tufts. We're going to the PTM replay right now, as we just missed it live here. Well, looks like Garrett might not be making too many friends down there. Certainly giving a little bit of a push and run on the 72, and Todd Tufts, he goes for a wild ride there on the front straightaway. Dodd looked like he had nowhere to go and nowhere to get out from. We'll take one look at it from his gearbox cam. You can see Garrett, his strategy is pretty simple. Plate track racing in this style. But you can see right there, he was not able to line up the fenders of the bumpers. And once that bumper gets enough of that corner panel and just gets all the airflow to travel back at it, it's almost like a black hole. It just sucks you right in, and there is no light that escapes from it. All you can see then is pure darkness coming in from your rear view mirrors. Sofield will settle himself back up for nerves. Round of pit stops here. Very aggressive driving here again, but with a track, with this kind of a track and this kind of a style, you almost have to be that kind of layout, that kind of racing in this case. Looks like Chantel Powell is kind of questioning whether or not she wanted to go into pit road now, or if she wanted to wait and try to get a few laps of lead on there from the boys, but didn't quite go for it. We'll talk with Len McNeese as soon as he gets out of pit road here. Tim Williams, though, will be one of the first commanders on the start here to get into pit road, as the pace truck is going to continue to drive off. Out of pit road, Ty Marasco being able to be the first one out. Brian Rainville in the 60 getting out there. Then DJ Mitzel, Gordon Larson Jr., and Eric Paulson managing to come away at the top 5 out of that pit stop run. Let's take a listen in now here with some of our other crafty drivers as we listen in right here with Len McNeese. And McNeese, as I finally have figured out how to say your last name properly, it appears you've also figured out how to properly tame the track in a little bit. Pit stop's helping out well as you go 9 spots up, sir. Could you speak up there, Len? We can barely hear you there, my friend.
Oh, I was gonna say I've been just trying to ride around with it back here. They've been really picking it up, you know, making it rough up there, a little beating and banging.
They have indeed. Is it really just a little bit of that having to do with the lower end speeds compared to maybe say like an Xfinity or Cup ride you would deal with here?
I'm gonna say so. It's just everybody's trying to draft it up in there a little quick, and then everybody's right there on top of each other. It's I think just everybody's trying different games, but just I don't know. That's getting a little too much beating and banging.
I think it is indeed, but nevertheless here, that's kind of the whole deal of racing sometimes. You just never know what to expect. Well, this Western Auto 84 is looking pretty sharp and sweet here, my friend. We'll see if maybe you can continue to ride on and take these boys for a trip or two.
Well, I hope we can just sit here and finish it out tonight. That'd be a good start.
For sure there. All right, McNeese, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Len McNeese, ladies and gentlemen, on the chat and on the call. Of course, his chat there didn't quite work out the way he was hoping for. Well, right now the aggression levels are getting higher and higher, and I'm not talking like a power levels in the Dragon Ball universe. I'm talking exactly what I mean there. Drivers just putting it closer together and maybe pushing themselves into areas maybe they should not be throwing themselves into. But if you're one of these guys right now, knowing you don't have much speed and you got to keep RPMs extremely high, I mean, that's kind of something that these guys are going to have to get used to, and they're going to have to work around for the entirety of this race. On back down to the Fort Worth screen printing race start zone. Into the distance, ready to fire them off here. Green's back out. We're underway again. Well, Marasco right now looking like a Roscoe P. Coltrane because he is duking the boys out, and he is literally making sure everybody knows who is the boss hog around these parts of town. Marasco is driving this one straight into the ground now, moving it into the inside corner, trying to get back to the bottom as a 61 of DJ Mitchell looks for the corner. Could not steal the lane from him, so he had to back off, let him by so he doesn't cause any trouble for any of them or the drivers. 3 wide slowing in the middle though. Gordon Larson, Michael Taylor, Cody Griffin in the mix. Running it hard, 3 wide off, and Griffin making a great comeback after some unfortunate circumstances earlier. Now trying to make their way through the chains. The 5 Cento bottle kind of getting eaten up a little bit in the middle, trying to stay clear of trouble. She's been through this before. She knows how these plate track style races work. Remember, she won last time out on Monday night's Pushing Limits Racing League, while also popping away with a race win at Sunday night's Pedal to the Metal Racing League, saying that was one of her biggest weekends she's ever had, and she would love to certainly go back and do it again if she could. well, right now she currently has a chance to maybe make something out of this one here and maybe make a bit of a runoff from these guys. As you see a little bit of that corner. Oh, hold on, watch out down there. Oh, a huge hit on the 5 there by Jeffrey Todd Tufts is in. As DJ Mitzel, once again, trouble down there, kind of gets the pack stacked up a bit. Jeffrey Todd Tufts getting a good little hit off there from the 5 of Chantal Pato. Can't quite tell where that went wrong or what went down. But it looks like right up front, these race leaders, man, they're getting just taken for a ride here. Mitzel, second time today he's had to deal with this, and he gets a hit from the side of the 60. The 60 being driven by Ryan Rainville there. Rainville looked like he was trying to evade and avoid. Unfortunately, though, there really wasn't much room in there for the avoidance part. It ends up getting some drivers kind of clipped around and putting for a ride there. Jeffrey Todd Tufts looking to get back out of here with the rest of the field. Looks like the 5 is starting to slow down. That aerodynamic properties of that truck may be destroyed by just that slight hit that she just took. And it looks like also might be a flat tire starting to come down on that left front of her. She's got to be careful on that butt kicker machine. Caution's coming in far between though, so I mean, who knows at this point. Could go either way between these guys. The 15 Jeff Clinton and the Max TV Plus machine trying to deal with the 18 of Michael Taylor, the Menards Chevrolet up top of him, and Cody Griffin, who really has been, I don't want to use the word all over the place, but he has certainly been kind of beating and banging around off the track and off the ends, but has admitted to himself that it was his own fault for doing it. Michael Taylor giving old Griffin a little bit of a kiss in the back or a little love tap, as I may know it here from the dirt racing scene. Popped it up on the back straightaway and now keeping their distance alive. Race fans, we have now approached our final halfway point. 5 laps more to go and it's halfway time for these drivers, and you know they still have fuel and tires they need to use up. Eric Blount in trouble though. The 6, what is going on down there? The number 6 X-Side going straight almost into the wall protection. Yellow is not out yet, no caution. Let's take a look at what happened though. The number 6, something going horribly wrong. And it's not the glitch graphic gremlins he had to worry about. It looked like he was already pretty loose there in the 6 coming off that corner as he was trying to fade out into the sunset, into the limelight. And this is where everything went completely wrong. You can see that truck actually went straight into the left side of your screen. Something going completely amiss there and destroyed on his end. Unfortunately, that will set him back quite a few positions, quite a few laps, as we see a 3-wide slope coming right in. McNeese getting a great jump off Douglas R. Johnson, 388 in the 72 of Mr. Jeffrey Todd Tufts. Whew, there's just so much action around here, guys. I can't keep up. They're just continuing to get quicker and quicker. I can't find where they stop. I don't think there is a place where they stop at. Well, there always is a place for where they might be going to next. So let's take a look at our best lap times here for the drivers. Top spots and honors right now going into the 41-12s, ridden by Ty Marasco in the 13. Although he is not the absolute fastest, as Eric Blount, before that huge hit, had taken a 41.09 off the radar and into the books. A fast lap and the best so far today, but hasn't been able to get the truck into a stable position, nor has he been able to have a stable connection with it, and that's going to end up costing him dearly here. Tim Williams in the 45 right now, absolutely blowing this field away with a huge gap of 9/10 of a second, if you will, on Doug Wysocki and Ty Marasco. And Wysocki, we know he can put up a podium position before. He always says he's just here for fun. He's not trying to race seriously, but I guarantee you there's still a little bit of him that has that extra speed and kick and bonus shot to work around and deal with here when he wants to. Let's see if maybe he wants to try to keep up with the heat and keep up with the pressure. Fixing a little bit of a jump off. Gordon Larson Jr. on the high side and the double O, rocking the speed, locking the corners off. You know, and also I'm just gonna kind of make this little thing here that I keep getting in my head. But I know I said last time that there was no relation to Larson, but there's also Kyle Larson, the driver of the dirt sprint cars, late models, and the NASCAR Cup Series, who, by the way, also just happened to win on this track here not too long ago. But I also kind of thought about it too. It's like he's got Jeff Gordon's last name as well. So not only does he have Larson's last name, he also has Gordon's last name as his first name. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just losing. Maybe I'm just going completely bonkers here. But he just has like the most incredibly high-rated Hall of Famer-worthy names kind of mixed into himself. And as a driver, he can definitely get the job done, and he's been trying. But it seems like some of these guys just show no respect to that name and that number, I guess. He certainly, he certainly is no 0 though, or double O for that matter. He can play a 007 and pull a bond or two off these guys when he needs to. We'll see if he can finally get it done today though. As the field continues to lay down their laps, Derek Paulson, number 17, coming up there at Ty Marasco just for a brief fleeting moment. Now Paulson, early on in the United Rentals machine, had the race lead, but fell back a little bit, fell back into the pace, and had to try to strive his way around just to hope he could get some more momentum to kick into his graphs here. Had a little bit of a lesser charge, a little bit of a runoff here as the field separates out more as we go. They are currently under a tire strategy rule now, if you will. That's why I see a lot of guys faltering and losing so much time up on the man that holds the race lead, and Tim Williams in the 45. And Williams, by the way, had went into pit road on lap number 27, and since then really has been just showing everybody how he comes to race and where he came to play at. And it seems to be on the sheer speed's wrist right now between everyone and everything. Looking down on the inside corner though here, Company of Bruin, number 15, Jeff Clinton. Looking to get our one off here on the number 6 of Todd Poston. Poston right now up top side, keeping the Java Monster in a serious amount of speed. But that running speed is still not enough to hold back the coverage the MAV TV Plus brings to the track as the 15 of Clifton, man, just to squeak on by. Now looking to go after the big old 72, Jeffrey Todd Tufts. The NVIDIA Shield, the NVIDIA G-Force, number 72 of Todd Tufts right now is being hunted back by the man of the big 15. The MAV TV Plus machine coming right into the mix and into the fray. Looking to lay down the 9 line on this boy today. Todd losing a lot of ground here and losing a lot of speed, and you can just tell this is not looking good for him and his crew. And you can see just how quick Clifton has reversaled this entire race. You would think right now he's playing Uno because he just laid down the reverse card and has shifted it towards the way he likes it. Running him off in 3 and 4 though. Todd not giving an inch. Not going to play to his mind games or his bluff. But Clifton says, what kind of bluff are you talking about, my friend? I just made the pass for you on the outside. Clifton getting a good runoff. Has got a leg up by a bit there. But they're dead even entering into turn number 1 and 2. Todd, looked like he might have came close to giving Clifton a little bump there. Backs off, and they both are straight as it can be, but that could have been very close. Tim Williams, Doug Misaki are now entered in pit road. Derek Paulson, Ty Roscoe, and Mr. Cody in the 60 here is going to stay on out. Brian Rainville, the one that entered into pit road earlier, so he's just muscling this field to get back his lap here. Marasco still trying to be the Roscoe P. Coltrane of it all. Trying to be the one that lays down the law and sheriffs this town around in the Pit Stall Summer Series. And early on, we gotta give these guys credit where credit's due. They had literally no idea where everyone was going or what they were going to be up to in the mix of their battles and in the mix of their fights here. But as they started to really wear into the track and more or less start to understand themselves. It seems though now things have completely reverted back to some sheer control and consistency. Len McNeese looking to give that extra lap or two that he got and use it to their advantage right now. He will do that and then some, as the 84 was the latest of the pit stops here. He went in at lap 28. Everyone else was lap 27. He did that to get as much fuel in that truck as possible, so he could probably actually get about 2 extra laps of fuel if he so desires. Well, he certainly desired, and he certainly brought it back in and looking to keep this one going. As he is now heading into pit road, Tim Williams, the 45, regaining his second place composure and keeping himself in this track here. Now, how about this, race fans? Right now, everybody in this mix in this field are literally about a second to almost a full 35 seconds back. That's on the lead lap anyway, with this entire bunch, this entire field here. And those that kind of got clipped up earlier on are now paying the price for it. That's why we always say when you're racing on these kind of tracks, you just got to be aware of your surroundings and be careful on who you get around with, because you just never know who's going to be the one that causes your night, causes your day to come to a swift and solid end. Remember, 61 of DJ Missile knows that all too well. It seems like all day long this 61 has been either punted, shoved, thrown around, or kind of clipped around a bit here. But he is still in this race. Derek Paulson is 17. I guess you could say kind of having the same ordeal in the United Rentals. Brian Rainville in the 60. Seems like the only thing he's done was kind of really later in the first half, which was ended up getting one of the other guys kind of bumped around a little bit and taken for a bit of a ride. But hasn't really been much else since then, as the auto owner 60 continues to stay in the charge and in the wake. How about this? Doug Wysocki once again not giving it to Tim Williams that easily here. The man is putting on a show and putting on a run. "30 laps left to go here in Fontana, California's Auto Club Speedway. An absolute banger of a race here for the first half. The second half has now done what these drivers were hoping to expect, which was a more tire run strategy based race, while also being a fuel run strategy as well. Everybody giving it their heart and giving it their soul. Todd Boson, the 6th, yet again back at it with Gordon Larson Jr. Both guys now hard on the throttle, mashing the loud pedal and that gas pedal straight to the pedal into the metal. With Gordon Larson Jr. right now dealing with him and some company in between. Coming off to the bottom here right now, we focus in on our battles. This is a great battle we're watching on with. Larson, crossover, generating down in turn number 2. And the 6th. Poston not able to fully clear him. Meanwhile, up ahead here, we also have Joe Meesh right now in the number 8, dealing with the power of DJ Mitzel. Mitzel qualified 7th. He is running in 7th. Meanwhile, 7 spots down for Joe Meesh as he will fall back even further in the field. Mitzel getting a good run off and getting some great speed to kind of go along with it. Really laying it home and laying it in thick here, just trying to make sure every driver knows he's not out of that yet. Jeff playing in the 15 right now, moving closer as we go. He's trying to make a dash off of these guys as he continues to drive off anything he can see or fit. And the 388 of Douglas R. Johnson was one of those pieces to the puzzle. Driving a hard line off, getting a great corner back yet again here. Signifying his speed and signifying some momentum here to keep it with these guys. So some pretty good stuff here from the boys in the mid pack and the mid run. Currently, unfortunately, we have 19th, 20th, and 21st laps down in this case. Michael Taylor, Eric Blount, and Randy Bledsoe having problems earlier on. Chantel Bottle moving into the 9th, 18th, and Radford moving into the 17th spot. Unfortunately, both drivers getting caught up in someone else's little mess, or someone else getting them into a bit of a mess. Couldn't really do much about it. You know, though, I will say it is good to see Ray Radford piloting back out on the track and giving him something to showcase for him and his crew today as he returns here from the series. We known him from the Spartan Logistics Management LLC iRacing IROC Challenge Series. Radford, obviously one of those cats that came out here and really put up a show every time he came out. And he was just one of those classy guys, man. You just couldn't help but respect a little bit for having some time and two to talk with. But right now getting duked out by the veteran of the 5, Chantel Bottle. The Throttle Bottle, as we've nicknamed her before. Getting right up ahead of the UPMC machine. Not too far back though, and still has plenty of time to get back into it as we now have a 3-truck battle here coming up to the 2nd place spot of Ty Morosco and Cody Griffin, actually about a full 2 seconds ahead of your 2nd place field. But right now the 3rd place position is in a heated battle. The 60 of Brian Rainville in the Toyota Tundra, the 17 of Derek Paulson in that Ford F-150, and Tim Williams in the 45 Chevrolet Silverado going to work and going to town on all they're involved. Crossed up down on the back straightaway here. Field continuing to make their way in runs and into the zone. Slamming the wall though a little bit does go Rainville. Rainville needs to be very, very careful about who he gets into and where he gets into. This is not the place to get running too quick and running too hard. Two laps left to go right now, and after that nice little battle we saw a minute ago, things have kind of slowed down just a hint or two. Joe Meese even starting to slow down even more in the 8. And remember, the 8 qualified for your number 1 seed today. Meese has not been able to last out on a long run though. He had a very, very fast truck in the qualifying session, but when it's now kind of thrown into the mix with these drivers that are behind and in front of him, it seems as though he may have been off more than he can chew. Todd Poston getting some good hits and clips here by Jeff Flitton as Poston now deals with that inside corner panel here. Having some company kind of lingering his way. You saw that 15 of Clifton thinking about it just a little bit, but did not make the move off. Brian Rainville will head into pit road here. That'll be the first one to go out in our final leg of this race. With 20 laps to go, all eyes are on the drivers that want to make it bigger and go for broke. Mee's gonna slam the brakes entering in pit road. Gonna try to get the fastest of the times in. Looks like gonna be a great pit stop here as he tries to avoid the speeding penalty. And I think it's about time we take a look at our pit strategy here. Let's take a look at our stint length here on the show. And this is a bit of a doozy here. It appears the furthest you go is about 20 laps before that fuel run comes to a swift kick in the end. So now entering in pit road, this is about that time. They need to start really pressurizing and making the right call in the right time. Cody Griffin knows he can only go so much further and so much longer. Sheer speed alone does not make this race up and does not make it any easier to grasp and take on here. Working their way around the track here right at the moment. I think it's about time we go ahead and then turn things off a little bit on the mics and let these guys and gals crank it up a little bit here on PTM Racing TV. It's time to lay down the horsepower. Listen to this as we crank it up. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, you just can't help yourself when we get these tunes cranked up a little bit and really let these drivers have at it in their own place. 2 seconds ahead right now, Tim Williams, the 45, after literally on the first couple laps, I said earlier, might have the worst possible luck and possible deal with here when those tires were strangled out and burnt up from the spin. That does not seem to be the case. He has literally risen from the ashes and used everyone's little hiccups to his advantage and mistakes here, but now he'll have to figure out how to outwin Smartum once again. He took tires already, so he's used up all of his 2 sets. Len McNeese in the 84 right now looking to try to last out just a little bit longer, so he has to only put in so much fuel. And the 84 now has headed into pit road. He's getting cleared out on the track here, setting himself down on the playing field. Jeff Glitton has joined him here. Cody Griffin in the 03 looking to try to hang on and bolster some leftover speed. They are coming dangerously close to literally having to go full on, full brink. Griffin gonna stay out just a little bit longer. Seems as though he wants nothing more than to make everything work in its favor and really stick with the speed and stick with the controls. But again, it's just a bit of a risk. It's just a bit of a handling situation to have to work around. There's so many things that can go very, very wrong here, and they are very well aware of it. Besides just the pacing and the timing, also just the struggle and the additive of having to work around so many corners and so many spots. 13 laps left here. And I believe everybody has now been in pit road when they absolutely have to. Yes, I can confirm that. The earliest one was lap 60. That was Joe Meesh, who went in at lap number 60. He was the one that tried to start the daisy change, get himself the early advantage. But because of how far back he was here, it actually ended up doing more harm than it did good for him. And now the rest of the field just kind of faltering in that line, faltering in that place. 13 will turn 12 to go as we have ourselves a battle up ahead right now. The number 47, driven by Dustin Franklin in the Fort Worth screen printing Chevrolet Silverado, trying to stay out of trouble, but also not trying to let his old teammate and John T. Garrett have to deal with too much company here. The 66 currently fighting it out with Poston as well as Wysocki right behind them. Both drivers on lead lap territory. Garrett just knows right now he is in a bit of a mix-up struggle here, dealing with not only his teammate behind him, but also the other guys right beside him and in front of him when they get up to him. He's making so many moves and so many hits in the road, trying to stay with his control and speed. The power really overwhelming and over-tempting these guys to their fullest potential. Coming down the wire right now, here Griffin is still your race leader. He went into pit road already at lap 63, made the most of it and made the most of his timing, knowing Tim Williams will be definitely after him later in the run. And Tim actually having to go on about 15 seconds back right now, might have actually been outsmarted. Morosco, the only one that is within a range of a draft here for Griffin, but again, he cannot overdo those tires. He has already burnt up quite a bit just by using them. Mainly his strategy in pit road was get fuel and go, because his tire sets is kind of all but lost to his own regard. Look at our battles right now here. You got two trucks battling here in position, Poston and as well as Dustin Franklin. Franklin, by the way, lap down. Len McNeese on the lead lap, trying to get up there with Wysocki, now dealing with pressure from Poston in the back end. Poston trying to draft hard to get around Franklin and get up there to McNeese. And McNeese still keeping his cool, keeping his tempo alive. But not for long though. Poston on the inside, stealing position away. He now garners the 8th slot. He has 2 spots up right now. McNeese 10 spots up. Not the ultimate hard charge of the award though going to him. Ty Morosco has got that with a 14 bagger here on him. And you can just see how much power, control, and mobility these drivers are putting into their lineup, putting into their streets. Honestly, I think Griffin may have actually kind of outsmarted and outplayed some of these drivers here on that long-term run, that long-term loss, because it seems like it's working so well for him. I think maybe he kind of knew something we didn't here and really was kind of tempoing this entire field out. See Ray Radford and Chantel Fotto here getting very dangerously close to being put a lap down. And again, by no fault of their own, really both drivers just finding themselves in racing ordeals As we said before, there's just too many things that can happen in racing. With this unpredictable nature and this unpredictable chaos that goes along with it. That's exactly what we got here in Fontana. Switch channel, John T. Carey, number 66, Chevrolet Silverado right now, keeping right up ahead as we continue with our Fort Worth screen printing race at Auto Club today. John Garrett right now kind of mixing it up a little bit as he gets right up to DJ Mitchell in the 61. These guys currently closing gaps and closing positions off on the rest of the field. Doug Wysocki, you know, a guy that tells us all the time, he was just out here to have fun. This is some pretty aggressive racing from that number 34. I think maybe he's been kind of lying to us a little bit, or he's playing possum, because honestly, I'm pretty impressed right now with his performance and the way he's riding this one out. Look at this now, straight into the bottom. Wysocki starting to get some aggression in there. 3 wide slid off in the top in the middle. Midsole kind of cramed in. Wysocki trying to steal the line with 4 laps to go. There's just some tremendous battles between these guys here leading into the final ends of this laps. Coming down through the corners. Garrett on the top, Wysocki on the bottom. Bottom lane will have the most amount of speed to cut the corners with, but having to drive up to that outside, it's going to be more easier said than done. The outside with that advantage on the exit. Entry, not so much, but the exit by far definitely there. Cody Griffin has now lapped up Ray Radford. Now looking at the 5% up auto time, Morasco is literally a full 2 seconds plus back. Nowhere to go and nowhere to run there for his end. And unfortunately, that really is going to kind of boil down to just unfortunately pit strategy if he couldn't get it going here. Tim Williams, the 485, give the man his due though. I mean, the dude literally put himself in a tight little spot, tight little position here to have to work around and have to get her into position and into the drive line for. But as we've always said here, you just can't make mistakes no matter where you're at. And even though it was early in the race, he made too many mistakes late in the run to try to outsmart the guy and try to outsmart the drivers. And the one that got the better of all of them so far to the end, it looks like it will be Cody Griffin. All he's got to do is just punch away a few more laps and this one's over with. Dustin Franklin and all of them currently just dealing with the added pressure and the added speed. Chantel Pottle didn't really come in today looking to get another win in. I think she was just trying to see what she can do against these boys, and she was putting it to them early until she got clipped up. But now the white flag high in the air. Cody Griffin sees a white pop up and sees the white charge up. Just a few short turns away from locking this one up. Call it what you will, from the start of this race though, Cody was completely taking these boys for quite a ride in quite some time, as he just decides to play a little showboating down there by swinging the tires around and giving himself a little bit loose, or it looked like he might anyway. Doesn't matter in this case, Morasco's not going to catch him. Into the final turn off turn number 4, straight to the checkers. White in now, shredded for checkered flag. Griffin wins at Auto Club. Morasco going second, third to Derek Paulson. And Tim Williams going fourth. Doug Wysocki managing Will manage to hold off John Garrett to the line, gets a top 5 for his troubles. What a race, and what a top fend for that one. Fontana, you've got yourself a winner today. The 03 Cody Griffin brings home the win, and a very big win for this pit stall Summer Series Chevrolet Silverado, taking full control of this race and in this moment. Well, definitely celebrating only the way he knows how to, race fans, here on this show, getting up some serious speeds and some momentum based off that one. Top 5 will be on your screen in a minute. We'll talk with the top 3 in just a second, but here's your fourth worst screen printing results here popping up on the screen. Cody Griffin popping away with a win. Morasco getting a nice second place finish. Third to Derek Paulson. Fourth to Tim Williams. Doug Wysocki holding off Garrett for fifth. Sixth to John Garrett. Then seventh to DJ Mitchell. Eighth to Gordon Larson Jr. Good showing from him. Todd Poston and Len McNeese getting a great job finishing this one out in top 10. Rest of your finishers on your screen. And how about that one, race fans? Great stuff all around and a very classy finish and good ending for these drivers as they continue to post up the positions and take everything tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, though, here is your top 3 now. Joining me on the show, race fans, Derek Paulson popping away with a third place finish today. And Derek, congratulations on that third place finish. And this one got a bit wild here as they were coming up from the spot to the end there.
Yeah, I would say the last half of the race was kind of quiet for me because I didn't have really anybody to race around. So I was just putting down laps. Wasn't really concerned too much about anything. Earlier on in the race, I got into a wreck and I had damage, and it slowed my car down for a little bit. So I had to use my fast repair, and they're in the middle of the run there. A couple guys short pitted, and I think that was the winning call there. But yeah, to come home in P3, I'm pretty happy.
Pretty happy with that. Pretty obviously satisfied as well to kind of go along with it. And, you know, these Fontana high banks and these corners around the track, I got a feeling that it really could have gone either way for some of you guys. But for you and this crew, I mean, getting this third place finish this early in the season certainly should help out things for quite a while, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm like I said, I was more set up toward the long run. So those last two stints where we kind of just ran wide open, I didn't quite have the speed to do that. So like I said, I'm extremely happy with the P3. It was a pretty good race for us.
Absolutely. Well, Derek, as you come away third today out of this bunch, I have to ask you, sir, who do you want to thank for that?
Excuse me. I got to thank MFRD, Michael Falk Racing Designs. He's usually on my truck, but he's had some stuff going on, so I just grabbed a trade and paints paint tonight to run. But gotta give a big shout out to him, and gotta thank my teammate there, Ty. You got a nice second place finish. He's new to the league, so it was nice to see him up there. Then I gotta thank just the other guys there that were in the radio with me, and I gotta thank all the drivers who showed up. I gotta thank the admins, and of course I gotta thank you up there in the booth.
For sure there. Well, Derek, really appreciate you coming on board tonight, sir, and putting up a show and a race today. We certainly can't wait to see more of you on the track here, and we'll see what happens as we get later into the season. Nevertheless, congratulations, though.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Derek Paulson coming away today with a third place finish. You heard him say his nickname a minute ago, though, and his second place finisher, the teammate Ty Morosco, coming away here in the 13th second place today. And Morosco, you pretty much laid down the law. It was a bit of the sheriff, as I nicknamed you, the Roscoe P. Coltrane of this race today. But as you kind of came down to the end, come down the wire, it seemed as though the short pits and those long stints then kind of changed the play field and the track here for you. What was that really for you like down there?
I mean, we had a really fast truck. Can't complain about that. I mean, it was just Cody. I think he pit a lap earlier than we did on the second to last pit stop there, and he really jumped us. Once he jumped us, it was I was catching him on that run, but then we pit, and then we kind of evened out the rest of the race. But yeah, for a moment there, I was making my way through the field, and I started back in 16th and made it up to first and led a few laps, and definitely was running fast, and nothing you could be sad about that.
No, certainly not indeed, and obviously with how tough and just controlled chaos this track is and this racing background is, you're going up against some extremely top tier drivers and some guys that really will put their ride on the line and put everything at full stake. I mean, for you though, the finishing in this place here, I got a feeling will kind of boost up for later on. But I mean, if there's anything you could have done differently though, would you may have tried it here on this track?
Um, I mean, no. I mean, I think I'm pretty confident this track coming in, and I love this. I mean, I like this track. Don't haven't ran the trucks around here too much, but I know it's all about the draft. But once you get spread out, it's just about keeping that momentum up in the corners. You don't want to get off the throttle too much, and if you get off the throttle too much, you're gonna have no momentum coming off the corners. So that was the main thing. But I mean, one thing I would change about the whole race is just pitting a lap early, on the second to last pit stop. Pit a lap early, we would have been in front of them and maybe held them off.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, Morosco, this is a very big second place for this crew and a very small start to this season. I mean, how do you want to find this one today with your friends and family? Who do you want to thank?
Well, my truck is unsponsored at the moment, but I do have a sponsor that runs with me in every league. MFRD, Michael Falk Racing Designs. He's on Facebook and all that. He does really cool paints. Usually does all my paints. He hasn't got a truck one out yet. That's why I'm running unsponsored right now. But hopefully at the second place, he can, get me that sponsor going again.
I think he may just indeed here, my friend. Well, nevertheless, though, we hope to see more of you, and maybe he'll pop up and race victory with a sponsor on that truck. Nevertheless, Ty, congratulations, sir.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Ty Morosco, ladies and gentlemen, coming away today as your second place finisher, but the man that is on top of the glass feeling and the guy that takes home this one at Auto Club, ladies and gentlemen, Cody Griffin. And that's 0-3. And as you park this thing at Victory Lane, Cody, you just kind of looked on at that track and kind of stared off in the distance. I have a feeling some of it could be just from really the hard racing you endured early on and then just kind of come in to that late half where things cleared up and you got a chance to really stay in that clean air. What was it like down there?
Yeah, I feel kind of bad. I got into two guys at the start there, and just the way the trucks were sucking up to each other in the draft, it just seemed like it was more touchy this race than it has been in years past. So apologize to those guys. Last thing I wanted to do was get into anybody, but as far as the race, it was fun. Setup was a little tight for my liking, but I typically drive a little bit freer than most people do. So it was just mostly just taking care of the tires and getting out front and just not letting them guys catch you, because if they got in your draft and could get a run up on you and get side by side, whoever was going to be on the bottom was going to be killing the tires. So
Yeah, I was about to say, it seemed like when we talked about it earlier, being on that bottom lane, being to the end of the top side, it can be a bit of a hassle, a bit of a workaround here for the crew. But, when you get up into that outside, is it just kind of literally when you can find the opening, or is it really just when you feel the time has come and the truck just can't do it no more?
uh, I mean, it's just you gotta know where your tires are at and how your tires are reacting, and you feel it start pushing over the bumps. It's time to start running conservative, figuring out a different line. That line ain't gonna work, and it's just kind of that way. It was pretty calm race after everybody got spread out, but that first part of it where we had all those restarts, man, everybody's just so bottled up with the motor that they got in these trucks now. It's just they ain't got a whole lot of power. Like I said when y'all interviewed me earlier, it's kind of like running a late model motor, crate motor. You just got to keep them wound up. If you get bound up coming off the corner, they're gonna freight train you.
They certainly do indeed. Well, nevertheless, though, as you managed to come away today for this one here in Victory Lane, Griffin, I have to ask you, sir, who do you want to thank for this all today?
Well, I want to thank Tim Lee at the pit stall, along with everybody else at the pit stall for putting it on. I told Tim I would run the uh, the pit stall as my sponsor in the league for this division. I also want to thank John Garrett at Fort Worth Screen Printing. He sponsors me in real life on the late model and also on here. So I got to give a shout out to him and shout out to you guys for broadcasting. And it was fun. So come away here with a points lead. We definitely got a good jump on them. So.
You certainly did indeed. Well, nevertheless, Griffin, congratulations on all this today, and we can't not wait to see it if you can go back to back here in just a couple weeks, sir. Congratulations here at Auto Club.
Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cody Griffin going away with the win and popping up with a huge win as this race was presented by Fort Worth Screen Printing and John T. Garrett Twitch channel. Be sure to give them both a little bit of love here. Head over to John T. Garrett's Twitch channel. Show him some love for the support he's brought with the Fort Worth Screen Printing. And, of course, Fort Worth Screen Printing and offering up the best of styles and colors, as you can imagine, for your design. So be sure to check that out on their end from Facebook to their website, fortworthscreenprinting.com. And race fans, from all of us here at PTM Racing TV, we absolutely thank you and adore you for your support constantly, day in, day out on PTM Racing TV. The next time we see you is tomorrow at Eldora, as the Dirt Stocks will have themselves an Enduro Derby. But up on the show, how many will make the call? How many will go for the money? You find out with us the same time. And Saturday night, Citadel Rallycross Racing is back once more. The Rallycross scene is in high gear, high hopes. We can't wait to see it all. For now, though, race fans, thanks so much for tuning in. Catch you next time on the show.